All right, today we are diving deep into a real-world marketing report for a company called Custom Concept Homes. We're going to peel back the layers of the spreadsheet and really uncover the story that these numbers are trying to tell us. So let's just get right into it.
So I want you to put yourself in the shoes of the business owner for a second. You get this report, you open it up, and the first big number you see is a 7-month marketing bill for over $22,000. I mean, that's a huge chunk of change for any business. And your first question is probably going to be,
Is this money just gone, a cost of doing business? Or is it something more? Is it an investment that's actually out there making you money? Honestly, how you answer that question is everything.
And here it is, in black and white, $22,077.23. Seeing a number like that with no context, it's just a big, scary bill. But the thing is, context is the whole story.
So let's not wait, let's get right to the good part. For just a minute, forget about the cost, and let's look at the result, because this is where the entire narrative just completely flips on its head. This is the number that actually matters.
Wow, $50,652. And listen, that's the net profit. That's money in the bank after paying that entire $22,000 marketing bill. All of a sudden, that cost is starting to look like a really, really smart investment, right?
And check this out. The report breaks it down even further. For every single dollar that Custom Concept Homes put into their marketing, they got back $3.29 in pure profit. That's a return on investment of 329%. Just incredible.
Okay, so a 329% return is fantastic, but how? I mean, where did all this new business actually come from? Let's follow the money and see what was working. And here we go. This shows the two main engines that were driving all this success. You can see Facebook ads were an absolute powerhouse, bringing in over 190 grand. But don't sleep on that little slice from the Google business profile, almost $52,000 from what was basically a one-time setup. Talk about efficiency. Now let's translate that into what it means for the business. That massive revenue number came from 11 brand new projects. 10 of them came from Facebook, and one really huge project came from that Google profile. But the key here is the average project value, over $22,000. These aren't small jobs. These are the kind of big, significant contracts you.
all right, let's zoom in a little bit on the Facebook performance, because there's a specific metric here that is just, well, it's nuts. It's called ROAS, or Return on Ad Spend. And it tells us exactly how hard every single dollar they spent on ads was working for them.
Put simply, ROAS answers one question. If I put $1 into this advertising machine, how many dollars in sales is it going to give me back? It's maybe the purest way to measure if your ads are actually making you money.
And the math behind it is pretty simple, actually. You just take the total revenue that came specifically from the ads, in this case, that $190,000, and you divide it by what you spent to run those ads, which was a little over 10 grand.
And what you get is 18.91x. I mean, let that sink in for a second. For every single dollar Custom Concept Home spent on a Facebook ad, they brought in almost $19 in revenue. That is an incredibly efficient, incredibly profitable campaign.
So, we've seen the what, the incredible numbers, but now let's talk about the why. What was the secret sauce here? Why did this work so well? Well, it all comes down to one thing that so many people miss: patience.
This quote, pulled right out of the report, says it all. You're in the home remodeling business, right? Nobody clicks an ad on a Monday and signs a $50,000 contract on a Tuesday. It just doesn't work that way. The sales cycle is long. You get a lead, and then you have to build that relationship.
See, if you have a short-term view, you're going to look at your ad spend in month one. You're going to get nervous, and you're going to say, where are all my clients? That panic makes people pull the plug way too early. But the long-term view, this 7-month view, gave those early leads time to grow, to be nurtured, and to eventually turn into that massive revenue we just saw.
So let's wrap this whole thing up with the big lessons here. First, always look past the cost and find the net profit. That's the only number that really matters. Second, a nearly 19x ROAS is just a sign of wild efficiency. Third, a 329% ROI means this wasn't an expense, it was a powerful investment. And finally, the big strategy lesson: in businesses with long sales cycles, patience isn't a virtue, it's a financial strategy.
And that really leaves us with one final thing to think about for your own business. When you look at your marketing, are you getting hung up on the bill, or are you focused on the return?
Are you measuring what it costs you, or are you measuring what it profits you? Because honestly, the answer to that question can change absolutely everything.